Good afternoon. So, epistemology is the study of knowledge within the scope and validity of distinctively justifying between justified belief and opinion. And metaphysics is the branch of philosophy that studies the fundamental nature of reality, the first principles of being and change. Logic, on the other hand, is seen as the study of laws of thought. The word logic, derived from Greek, was a variety of meanings, including word, thought, idea, argument, account, reason, or principle. Now, logic has two, I would say, subset of it. You have formal logic and you have informal logic, and you have in those logics you have deductive and inductive reasoning. So deductive reasoning now would start from a more general approach. So you would state a general fact, then you would come down to premise. I would say the premises would be like your hypothesis. So you would start from a general fact, and then you would extract till you come down to a premise or a hypothesis. Now, on the other hand, inductive reasoning, you would start from a normal premise, then you would extract until you reach a general fact. So there are idealist views of philosophy that see it as an affirmation of the autonomy of a thinking subject. As the primary instrument of this absolute subject, philosophy shares its autonomy and therefore is a discipline that rises above the determination of history and everyday life. So the distinguishing characteristics of Afro-Caribbean philosophy do not support this view. Now, here's why. Here we find the tradition of philosophy so indelibly marked by the forces of an imperial history and by its intertextual relations with neighboring discourses, that it is necessary to begin with a general characterization of philosophy that is more appropriate to its pattern of development. So, from the Afro-Caribbean perspective, philosophy is an intertextually embedded discursive practice, and not isolated or absolutely autonomous to one. So, it is often implicitly referred or engaged in the production of answers to everyday questions and problems that are being framed in non-philosophical discourses. However, it is a distinct intellectual practice that raises certain kinds of questions and attempts to answer them by a variety of styles of argument that draw on formal logic, paradox, coherence, the meaningful logic of lived experiences, and the synthetic powers of totalizing systems. So, from the intertextual perspective, philosophy appears as an open but diverse discursive field in which ontological, epistemological, logical, ethical, transcendental, historical, and other formations flow into one another. So this rather fluid field is responsive to various strategies of organization, either from within or without. In cases like Caribbean, where philosophy functions as a minor or auxiliary discourse, organization usually comes from outside and it's often less centralized than in cases which philosophy is a major or more autonomous discourse. Okay, so looking at concretely Afro-Caribbean philosophy, we'd say it's just such an internally differentiated and intertextually embedded discourse. So its formation and current structure reflect the imperialist cultural system that has housed the larger discursive field of Caribbean society. So consequently, many of the original features of our philosophical and other discursive practices have been shaped by the colonial problematics and counters of our cultural history. Yeah, because we can see that we now dress, we have a more Eurocentric influence of dressing curriculum, because those curriculum are, the Eurocentric curriculum is what is being taught in school. See, and you have the influence from the religious part of it, religious aspect of it, where the Western society have embarked on creating, as I would say, fraternity of religion, of many religions that have trapped the people of Caribbean descent, or people of colonial descent, to being influenced, or to be or to adhere to the superiority complex that have been created by these people of Western society. So this colonial reframing within the dynamics of legitimacy needs to produce a seismic shift in the orientation of Caribbean philosophy. This shift would take it in a very finite